A journey of boundless passion in search of solutions to problems rooted in human greed. The world has fallen apart for the victims of the human greed.
Nobody was ready to help us out. One day things reached to such a point that I thought it was better to end this life.
There was no rain and no employment opportunity. We had no idea if and when we could find our next meal.
In such a dire state, suicide seems to be the only option for a farmer.
We were totally shaken, worried about our very survival.
Is it possible to mend this hapless situation? Utilizing the strength emitting from the very problems, can we convert the cries for help into smiles of satisfaction? Obsessed with a desire to fulfill her dream of finding solutions, she created her own trail for the journey. Initially, she was alone in this journey. The surrounding devastating reality awakened her compassion. At the tender age of 13, pushing aside the cozy cocoon of transient pleasures, she vowed never to marry and decided to devote her life for the eradication of poverty, exploitation, illiteracy and superstition amongst the people in the land of her birth. Mahatma Gandhi's grand dream of self-sufficient, prosperous villages was her vision. This vision opened the way to hope, gave her the will to carry on her crusade. It was the source for defeating the despair at every step. Let's join this miracle worker in her journey and experience that unbelievable transformation. This bundle of energy is called Nileema Mishra. After completing postgraduate studies in clinical psychology, Nileema worked for 8 years with the reformist Dr. Kalbag on his concept of rural development through education. She founded the Bhagini Nivedita Gramin Vigyan Niketan Rural Science Center in 2000 at Bahadurpur. She soon attracted a team of energetic, dedicated associates with faith in her vision. They first invoked the inborn strength of women that lay dormant for years. A confident woman means a confident family, and confident families create a confident village. Nileema knew this too well. Some women approached Nileema with their problems. She asked them to form a small savings group for collective action, but they seemed reluctant. Pursuant discussion revealed that many private companies had defrauded them of thousands of rupees under the guise of microfinance. With the help of the State Bank of India, Nileema dispelled their doubts and the women agreed to form the first self-help group. These women may be illiterate, but they are intelligent. Their potential had never been tapped till now. Could they prove their spirit of enterprise? Nileema Didi's efforts bear their first fruit. Inspired by their Didi, 14 women raised enough capital to satisfy basic needs. Hope was seeded in minds that had wilted away due to daily struggle. Wiping off tears forever, they started humming songs and began grinding spices, grating nuts. Didi's dream became reality.
"14 of us pitched in 200 rupees each and collected 2,800 rupees in total. We used this amount to buy raw material from the nearby town of Parona. Over a period of 15 days, we processed the raw material into 33 different food items, including variety of laddus, chikki from peanut and sesame seeds, lemon and chili pickles, different kinds of papads, and so on.
We did some calculations. The time spent on preparation, amount spent on raw material, worth of our labor, and accordingly we decided the price.
Then we informed people from our villages about the products made by the self-help group. I encouraged the group to arrange an exhibition of their products by setting up stalls and sell their products. They asked, "What is an exhibition? What is a stall?" I explained the idea and told them how they would have to wait at the stalls and sell the items. Realizing the fact their husbands, in-laws, relatives would be visiting the exhibition, they expressed their reluctance. How can we do marketing under the gaze of our family members? I responded, "Okay, I shall cancel the program. Keep your prepared food items with you. I cannot have new program for you. Remember, you have courageously ventured out of the house, rebelling against all odds and prepared these items. If you gave up at this stage, you are facing a failure. You cannot turn back." My comment had the desired effect. They all agreed. "Okay, Didi, we will wait at the stalls and sell the items." They pulled up their sleeves and started arranging their stalls. This was the first time a women's enterprise was setting up an exhibition in the village. People started crowding at the stalls. The group members started selling their products, collecting the money and keeping a tab on the inventory. The women were urging the customers to try out their food items. Of course, there was no time to see whether their husband or in-laws or mother-in-law or son-in-law was around. Their fears, worries, self-doubts and lack of confidence soon disappeared. This was the beginning of a new venture.
The self-confidence of the 14 women encouraged other women to join in the enterprise and prove their ability.
The other village women observed that these women are selling goods and making money. They complained, "We could also do this. Why we were not invited? Give us a chance too." The desire for starting such businesses spread like wildfire. This led to a formation of more small saving groups, each fired by the ambition to do better than the others and create their own economic opportunities.
Along with business comes financial management, profit and loss, cost control of raw materials, labor cost and so on. One must be computer savvy to manage this. The first 14 women imbibed their Didi's message and accepted the challenge. Simultaneously balancing duties at home and putting up with power interruptions, they learnt the use of computers. They also helped 100 ordinary women become computer literate.
I always had interest in computers, but never had an opportunity. I was one of the 100 women who enrolled for the computer literacy program conducted by Didi's organization. Now I manage computerized accounting for them and have become financially independent.
Nileema's passion was to open the doors for them to become economically independent. Every woman has an artist hidden inside. Nileema invoked this hidden talent and enriched the tapestry of life for many women of Bahadarpur. She challenged these women. What else could your hands do? Apart from applying cow dung to walls and floors, fast came the reply, "We can do beautiful embroidery." Nileema was overjoyed with the confidence of the women and she was ready to accept new challenges.
Around the same time, Annie Godfrey came to meet us along with 9 foreigners. They were interviewed with the sight of rural women engrossed in learning embroidery. Annie said, "Hey, I am a designer. I can give work to these women. However, I need quality production."
Annie was very impressed with their creations. She offered them work on the express condition that they will have to maintain the quality of their output. To make the best of this opportunity, Nileema gave them a pilot project of making letterboxes. While working on the project, she imbibed amongst these women the importance of deadlines and management principles of targets, teamwork, quality and consistency. Afternoon at Bahadarpur, then and now. What a difference! Afternoons that were filled with idle chatter became income-generating embroidery sessions.
Work was the only alternative for these women. During the embroidery project, I organized a Sankranti celebration and invited some foreigners along with Annie. 12 visitors lined up in a row. The women presented a letter box to each of them. Annie was full of praise for the designs on the boxes and decided to give work to the women.
Nileema, who inspired me so much, we thought, how can these unskilled ladies actually right away make something that we could export to the West? So we started with very small motifs that we actually gave them to sequin and bead, and then we applied those motifs to garments, and they took off. We have a big market, so basically the demand for the women to have small work created the product, you might say.
These women made the best of the opportunity. Demand for their products kept on increasing. The project created excitement amongst the villagers. Many other village women approached Nileema for work opportunities.
During a meeting with 500 women, I asked them what businesses we could undertake. There were numerous responses. They could make candles, incense sticks, phenyl, and so on. This list was of no use to the women who toiled in the fields. This is all for educated women. Is there anything that we can do? They asked. We only know how to make quills out of rags. They felt embarrassed when others burst into laughter. They did not know what was there to laugh about. In support of their statement, I said, why not? We can sell quilts too. Let us set up a project for quilt making. They couldn't believe, but their response led to the project of quilt making.
All dreamers initially face ridicule. Later, they become guiding lights like the North Star. Hands accustomed to working under the scorching sun started skillfully weaving new patterns. Places such as temple courtyards and home terraces became quilt-making centers. Around the same time, an order for 100 quilts arrived from Germany. This created a lot more enthusiasm. But the excitement didn't last long. The order was cancelled since the women were unable to deliver the specified design patterns. But they were not deterred. They continued the work with the same vigor as before.
One day, Annie visited us when our women were making quilts for the local market. She wanted to know what this new project was all about. Once she understood that we were not making and selling these quilts locally, she asked if we could make them for her. Why not? But I would like to warn you in advance, I responded. Then I told her about the fiasco of the German order. Annie said, no problem. I am a designer. I will provide designs and also the necessary training to these women. She then taught the women lots of craft techniques and gave them some useful hints. Thus empowered, the women started coming out of their own designs. Annie was excited with these creative designs. She remarked, these rural women have lots of potential.
Nileema recognized the strengths of the women and created more opportunities for them. Their quilts started providing warmth to persons in faraway countries.
Wonderful quilts, we make them from baby size up to queen size. And everybody in the West wants a quilt, handmade quilt. And when they see that label, that it's been made by the women who, it's supporting women in the rural areas of India who either were sick, who had no other chance of income, they want to buy that quilt. Not only because it's beautiful, but because of who made it. And this is the key. So many women in the West want to support these type of projects.
We'll be importing all these products directly from India and wholesaling them to stores throughout Europe, as well as selling them directly on the web. So I think the potential is huge. And because of this model where people feel like they're supporting and they're helping, it's possible that it could spread everywhere, really.
While the products of some women were reaching foreign shores, a few other women were selling seasonal produce in nearby villages under the scorching sun. Their entire day's work was generating only a meager profit. They came to Didi for advice.
They presented their problems to me. We go from one village to another selling our goods. Our produce is seasonal. So in winter, when people make laddus, we sell them gum, dates, methi, coconut. Then it is the beginning of the spice season. Thereafter we sell mangoes, bananas, puffed rice and roasted grams. Our schedule varies with seasons. Since the quantity is small, we purchase it from a nearby town and sell it in surrounding villages. Now we have a major problem. Since there is no rain, we are short of money. We guided them to form a rural business women's association and procure finances for their activities.
We did not have any funds to begin with, but Didi procured the funds from other association and we started the work.
Having adequate funds, the women started buying raw material in large quantities at wholesale rates. With the larger quantities, they could cover more villages and their earnings jumped to 200 rupees a day from a meager 50 rupees a day.
Now they purchase goods on a truckload basis with turnover in lakhs of rupees. This was possible only due to availability of funds on time.
Later, these women requested us to procure raw materials for them. They promised to buy it from us, as per their need on a smaller scale with a margin of 2 to 3 rupees per kilo. It took a little time to accept these suggestions, but in the end, I was convinced and implemented the idea.
Providing purchase facility along with funds helped many needy women become self-employed.
Dried dates, coconut, cumin seeds and turmeric. We used to sell small quantities of these. We never thought we would set up a successful business. Support from Didi's organization made this possible.
We now have an economy supported by infrastructure. Earlier, Didi faced problems arising out of misery and desolation. Now she faces different challenges altogether. The expanding scope of women's business, inventory management, storage problems, space requirements.
Nimish Bhaisha from Caring Friends visited us and witnessed the situation. He advised us to buy our own land within the town of Parola and construct a warehouse. He promised and provided requisite funds for the purpose. The construction of a warehouse is now underway. From the new facility, we will be able to supply raw materials to as many as 350 women.
Drying spiced dumplings and papads in the sun. A simple business. Hundreds of hands have now joined together to harness the blistering heat into the moonlight of happiness. This joy enhanced the taste of the dumplings.
We take dried split peas from here, clean and soak them in the water for the night. At 5 o'clock in the morning, we wash them and come to Didi's place to have them grounded in a grinding mill. We take it home and finish preparing dumplings by 10 o'clock. In the late afternoon, we bring the dried dumplings to Didi's organization. In the process, we earn 50 rupees every day. Once we made the dumplings weighing almost 25 kilos. We told Didi that we shall sell these in nearby villages and then report back to her. We managed to collect almost 600 rupees from the sale. We reported this to Didi. She was very happy. We told her that our transportation cost was only 4 rupees. Didi encouraged us to prepare dumplings in bigger quantities. Finally, we reached an output of 1 quintal. It has provided employment to more than 50 women.
Now the women have acquired marketing skills. Once mired in misery, they have now blossomed into pleasant personalities. They are working hard, not just for money, but to reach the higher peaks of satisfaction. Financial insecurity has vanished from their lives. They are progressing on this new road with confidence, expecting more from themselves.
Some need money for children's education, some for buying a house, some for constructing one.
In the Diamond Jubilee year of the Democratic Progressive State of Maharashtra, women's empowerment has given rise to new voices. These voices are now asking questions.
Do you expect people below poverty line to remain there? Though I am doing manual labor, I do not want my son to do it. I would educate him and let him find a decent employment.
This questioning attitude of the impoverished is the beginning of their empowerment. To achieve this, Didi goes to the root of the problem and utilizes the strength emanating from the very problem to find a solution. Help yourself, shake off dependency, and learn to support others. Look beyond yourself.
Didi showed us the way. Thinking only of oneself does not lead to progress. We can go ahead only if we join hands with others. This is the way women can empower themselves.
While helping villagers achieve economic independence, Nileema also had to face failures. One such failure was a dairy project. This happened due to the shortcomings in a government scheme. Nileema had funded a milk collection center and provided work to jobless youth. A milking cow stops producing milk after 6 months. It then becomes uneconomical for a poor farmer to feed and maintain this livestock. The project thus collapsed after the milk production stopped.
We tried a lot to help farmers to get another cow or a buffalo, but there was no government scheme for this. In the end, our efforts failed.
Using the lesson from the failed project, Nileema successfully supported the establishment of a dairy collective with 10,000 members. However, the bank was not adequately staffed to handle a loan facility to buy thousands of milking cows. The young workers of Nileema's association assisted the bank in setting up a joint liability account for the 10,000 farmers.
We prepared necessary papers for the 10,000 farmers and submitted them to the bank, but the bank was short of manpower to process this. They taught me how to open various types of accounts. I helped open loans and savings accounts for the farmers. The bank also handed over all the work of the joint liability account to me. We disbursed 4 crores from the branch at Sakri and another 6 crore from the bank at Pimpalner. Around 4,000 households are getting the benefit of this facility.
The experience with the earlier dairy project was a great help in the new project, which is overflowing with abundance. While many residents of Bahadarpur were on their path to economic success, the plight of the farmers was critically grave. Due to continued famine, they were heavily in debt with banks, institutions, and money lenders.
The interest on my loan was compounding almost at 18%. The arrears were too high. The farmers had no hope of sowing, let alone harvesting.
If you are in the arrears of your payment, neither the bank nor cooperative society will talk to you. Even the money lenders show you the door as they have no hope of recovering the money from you. We were frustrated.
Many farmers had committed suicide in nearby villages. We were depressed.
The farmers in the nearby districts were committing suicide. The plight of the farmers was hopeless.
In view of the seriousness of the situation, we approached few agricultural experts. We reviewed the farmers' problems with them. The experts stated that the farmers have adopted monoculture and hence there is a loss of biodiversity. They have to go back to the rotation of crops. They have moved away from the organic fertilizers in favor of chemical ones. They don't use crop loans for farming, but for marriages or to buy televisions. The experts believe that the farmers should lead a Spartan life without entertainment or celebrations. This all sounded ridiculous. Does the farmer have no right to enjoy life like others? Would the use of organic fertilizers really put an end to their plight? Will this help to stop their suicides?
Nileema decided to save the lives on the verge of suicide. She urgently arranged funds for them to buy crop seeds. Fortunately, a good monsoon yielded good crops, and soon smiles appeared on the farmers' faces.
This was a problem of all farmers. We did not want any farmer to face it alone. A community problem had to be tackled collectively by joining hands together. We established this culture in the community.
Nileema organized the farmers into self-help groups. To relieve them from the debt trap, she arranged interest-free loans for them.
Didi helped us a lot. She contacted other institutions and cooperative societies and helped us in repaying our loans. Her interest-free loans helped relieve a lot of our tension.
She convinced these farmers that self-support was the key to solve their problems. They began working collectively. shedding depression, they decided to learn new farming techniques.
We had several discussions. The need of the farmers was to have funds on time without begging for it. We decided to generate revolving fund for this purpose, with confidence that the farmers will pay back every penny as soon as possible.
The pioneering work of Bhagini Nivedita Gramin Vigyan Niketan has attracted many social organizations and foundations to come forward to help.
I feel that it would be a model which would probably become a role model for others to follow, because nobody would have tried this with the farmer and the Shetkari community, where you say that if you want to build bore wells, we'll give you the money for a long term and you don't need to bother about monthly payments, because we'll work out flexible payment options as per your requirements. So if you want to pay back in 6 months every twice a year, that is fine. So that is what they have proposed and we have agreed to it.
The villagers are launching new endeavors using available financial assistance.
We are on our way to establish a progressive village that has good hygiene and adequate sanitation system. Each house must have its own latrine. Keeping this in mind, we are constructing private and public toilet facilities.
To maintain hygiene in private and public areas, the organization has undertaken to construct 500 toilets within 15 months. This initiative started with the active support of Gul and Brijbala Asnani from Allentown in the USA and Shashikant Dhamne from Chalisgaon. They worked tirelessly to obtain the initial financial assistance from Rotary International for this project. Later, Shiv Shankar Bhau Patil, the chief of Shri Gajanan Maharaj Sansthan, took interest in the expansion of the project and provided sizable assistance. Bahadurpur is now ready to fulfill Gandhiji's dream of self-sufficient villages. Villagers get together to discuss and solve their problems democratically. The meetings of the elected village council have taken the form of village assemblies attended by every villager. The women also participate actively in these meetings.
People's direct participation in the planning and execution of development is an important facet of an ideal village. For this purpose, a village assembly, a public meeting for the entire village, is the ideal medium. Though we want the village assembly to be the ultimate authority, this concept has not percolated to the grassroots. So we arrange a village assembly every month. All government schemes allotted to the village council are presented in the village assembly for collective decisions. We now educate villagers in administrative matters and make them aware of their responsibility towards the village social development. If the village follows the motto, "Our village, our rule," then there will be a real awakening leading to the development of the village.
Nileema is confident that self-realization through the awareness of rights and responsibilities created amongst the villagers using village assembly is the only road to a prosperous village.
A stand-alone village fund has been set up for the use of the villagers. We have set the appropriate criteria for eligibility for the distribution of the fund. A loan from this fund is interest-free. The distribution of the fund is decided with the participation of the village assembly. The applicant for a loan has to satisfy certain criteria. For example, the applicant has to have a latrine in his home. No one from their home is an alcoholic, and so on. The loan is approved only if the village assembly decides that the applicant fits into the eligibility criteria. As the loan amount increases, additional eligibility criteria are applied. For example, the home of the applicant should be fitted with roof water harvesting system. The applicant must be actively involved in social work at the village level through financial contribution as well as participation in the work involving labor and so on.
An opportunity made available to responsible villagers for borrowing interest-free loans for genuine causes from the village fund has released them from the tentacles of private money lenders who charge exorbitant interest. Poverty is not born solely out of external circumstances, but also from one's state of mind. We need to shed our fears and create a self-sufficient economy. With this belief, Nileema studied the wretched poverty and exploitation of the slums in Dhole district.
The small savings groups in Bahadurpur were helping to bring its economy back on track. Industries were being set up. I was curious to know how things were in the outside world. What are the problems? What are the means used to solve those problems? We decided to study the situation in slum areas. We came to know that the inhabitants of the slums in Dhule district were paying rupees 10 to 20 per month as interest on every 100 rupees.
Private lenders normally charge 5 to 10% monthly interest. In case of urgent need, they even charge 15% per month. This is how it works here.
When we go to borrow, they quote 10 to 15% per month, and even then, they don't give the loan in time. They may loan the money later when the urgency has subsided.
We went to take a loan. They made us run around here and there, and finally they declined.
We feel that there is too much tension in a home over insignificant amounts. There are many ups and downs. If financing institutions could provide loans at reasonable interest rates, then the borrowers would not face problems. If this will happen, then people will move forward and make progress.
Knowing the basic principles behind economic progress, Nileema put together a financial system for these slum women.
Didi from Bahadurpur told us about small savings groups. We didn't know anything. We felt happy. 15 of us started a savings group. Each contributed 50 rupees every month for 5 months. Later we increased it to 100 rupees. We are happy to have our own fund when we need it. 4 of us have borrowed 10,000 rupees each from the fund. Someone had to celebrate a wedding, someone needed money for childbirth, another woman wanted to construct a house for her family, and so on. We benefited a lot from this facility. It solved many of our problems.
Nileema created a financial system for slum women who were struggling for day-to-day living. Their lives then became bearable. The fascinating Satpura mountain ranges in Nandurbar district are home to several tribal communities. Nileema travelled to this inaccessible region to help solve the problems of these tribal communities.
Economically, Bahadurpur was progressing well. We decided to shift attention to Nandurbar district. We visited the town of Taloda. Our worker Raju is based here. Along with him, we roamed the area and spoke to the locals.
Average farmer here is penniless and cannot afford to buy farming implements and bullocks. This is the reason 50% of the residents go to Saurashtra in search of work.
After observing the circumstances and listening to the locals, we were shocked. We could visualize their terrible plight.
I borrowed 15,000 rupees at monthly rate 4% and kept paying interest of 600 rupees each month. 8 years. 600 per month 600 rupees I paid. 54,000 rupees. 54,000 in 8 years and 15,000 principal.
I had mortgaged farm. Still did not get any money. It was 10 years ago. I went to Gujarat. Even there I could not earn any money. For 10,000, I had to pay back 20,000.
We have nothing. We eat anything available. That's our life. Eat anything, drink anything, go anywhere.
Farming is the primary source of income here. But without water, cultivation is impossible for 8 months of the year. The tribals travel to Gujarat in search of work. They borrow to pay for the travel. The rate of interest is very high. For a meager amount, their land is mortgaged for generations.
If a farmer borrows 2,000 rupees, he has to return 4,000 rupees within 8 months. If he buys an ornament weighing 10 grams, he is made to pay for 20 grams plus labor charges. A lot of money was leaking in this way. Most of the earnings of these tribals were used for paying the hefty interest on loans. Finding work for day-to-day living is a real problem. It was not possible for us to create employment for all of them, but we could try and put an end to their economic exploitation by reducing their interest burden. It would solve many of their problems and they would be empowered to solve other problems. We set up a revolving fund to facilitate loan at 12% annum. We gave such loans to 40 persons initially. Next year, more than 250 persons approached us for similar facility. but we could not help.
Providing loans to so many persons was beyond the scope of Nileema's organization. She contacted several organizations to raise capital for a revolving fund. She finally succeeded after 2 years of relentless efforts.
Krishi Vitta Vikas Mahamandal and Let's Dream Foundation based in Delhi have come forward to work with us. Through these organizations, we are providing finances at low cost to the tribals in this region.
I now have a borewell. The crops are good. My earnings are more than doubled.
Didi provided a borewell in our farm. We are happy. We now live on our farm.
I had mortgage in my farm. Didi gave us money and we paid off the mortgage. We have sowed cotton. It's growing well.
Our farm was mortgaged for 15,000. Didi gave us money. We got it back. The harvest produced 25,000. Profit is 10,000. We celebrated our son's wedding. We have sown jawar on 1 acre. It will be enough for us.
21 persons borrowed money to get their land back from the moneylenders. Some had mortgaged their land since 5 years, some since 10 years, and one had it mortgaged for 45 years. Today, they have their land back. Some have installed bore wells. Each one is now cultivating his own land.
These farmers, free from debt, are looking happily to the future. Didi, who helped them, gratefully mentions the support of others she received in her venture.
We could solve the problems of these people only because of the support we receive from Dr. Jagannath Vani and caring friends Ramesh Ji Kacholia and Nimish Bhai Sumati.
Encourage village industries. Provide job to every villager. Let villagers support themselves. This was Gandhiji's dream. It is taking shape in Bahadurpur and the surrounding villages. A young woman, Nileema Mishra, possessed with this vision, is in tireless pursuit of it. She has decided to spend all her life for this cause. She brought hope to the hopeless existence of farmers. She has created a new awakening in their life.
Since last 2 years, myself and Manda have been observing the progress of Nileema's project. It reminds me of the words of my father, late Baba Amte, who said, "Be realistic in making a plan, but plunge into it while executing." Nileema is an ideal example who has devoted her life to fulfill this. Her devotion inspired countless literate and illiterate women around.
Starting her journey with a modest aim of improving the economic conditions of the people of her village, Nileema later expanded the scope of her work far beyond her village and removed economic insecurity from the lives of many destitute from the 4 districts surrounding her village. She has revolutionized not only the economy of her village, but she has also improved the quality of life in the village. Bahadurpur of today is an ideal role model for nation building. It has created a self-sufficient economy free from corruption. Helping everyone to become a happy and content human being was simply a dream at one time. Now, it is a reality in Bahadurpur. Nileema Mishra, beloved Didi of many, has made it possible.